Forsaken is a popular asymmetrical horror game on Roblox, featuring characters from across Roblox history, including characters from other Roblox games like Elliot and Noob, actual Roblox admins like Shadlesky, Deucecar and Builderman, and even Roblox hackers and myths like 1x1x1x1 and Cool Kid. Usually the game gets an update every couple of months, and in these updates, a ton of new things get added. Today, or well tomorrow for me, considering it's at 2 in the morning, one of the most anticipated updates is getting released, the Azure update. This is very promising as we're going to be getting a crap ton of things for the update, including a new LMS, a lot, and I mean a lot of skins, quality of life features, and even some brand new lore involving 2Time in Azure and the Spawn cult, which I'll explain and read at the end. So stay tuned for that. Now that that's all been said and done, sit back, relax and grab a snack, and let me tell you everything being added in the Azure update. To start off this video, let's talk about the main thing being added in this update, being Azure himself. Azure is a Forsaken original upcoming survivor and will be the 8th killer to join the game. He was confirmed to be the next killer when he appeared at the end of the Forsaken roadmap showcase on the official Forsaken YouTube channel, where a likely update icon of them was shown connected via an arrow to Jane Doe's release update. Based on their conceptual moveset, Azure is most likely a trapper killer, which would make them the second trapper killer alongside John Doe. If you don't know who Azure is, Azure, full name Azuraf, is a devoted cultist loyal to the Spawn cult, a violent group that believes sacrificing others will grant a second life from their god, the Spawn. The reason for them joining the cult remains unknown. Azure enjoys working with plants and herbs, serving as the cult's botanist. They are skilled in herbal remedies and treat other cultists when they fall ill, despite them not being a qualified doctor. Azure's backstory starts when at some point Azure encountered 2Time, who is another Forsaken survivor, who had been assigned to collect lumber for the cult. 2Time initially mistook them for a beast. From that moment, their relationship grew from a simple companionship into a romantic bond. Azure gave 2Time their nickname as 2Time, confirming that it's not their real name. This relationship became 2Time's first true friendship, as they had been largely isolated from the rest of the cult, and they valued it deeply. Their bond is shown in multiple renders of 2Time's milestone skins, especially the legacy versions from milestone 1 to 4, despite the legacy milestones probably not being canon anymore. Over time, it's unknown whether Azure noticed it or not, but 2Time's mental state deteriorated as they became increasingly radicalized by the Spawn cult's ideology, eventually receiving the Ghostfire dagger. According to their oblation and their sacrificial dagger ability descriptions, they excitedly showed Azure their cool knife while concealing its true purpose. Both were told they had been chosen to set out on the grand step to rebirth. Azure and 2Time eventually found themselves in a field of nightshade flowers, likely one of Azure's favourites due to their interest in plants. Surrounded by what they loved, Azure approached 2Time while carrying roses. In that moment, 2Time's devotion overtook their love. Seeing an opportunity to fulfill the Spawn's decree, they drew the Ghostfire dagger. Azure stood in shock as 2Time began to cry. What happened next was a culmination of their descent. 2Time fatally stabbed Azure in the heart and collapsed. Oh my god. 2Time knelt beside them. In their final moments, despite the pain, Azure held their hand and smiled and said, "I love you," before passing away. Crazy backstory, I know. But let's move on to Azure's abilities and playstyle. As I said before, Azure will be the second trapper killer, the first one being John Doe. Azure's first ability is called Perforating. Once activated, Azure lashes one of his tentacles forwards. This deals 22 damage. Azure's second ability is Seeker Bulb. Once activated, Azure places a flower turret onto a surface. When a survivor runs or uses an ability around a 10 to 15 stud radius, it'll rapidly shoot 5 pallets and inflict 4 damage per second, giving the survivor a Tropia 1. If you don't know what a Tropia is, it's a status effect that allows Azure to do more damage to you and highlights you to him. This effect stacks per hit. The turrets can be disarmed by walking up to them and completing a short minigame. Azure's third ability is called Stigmatize. When activated, Azure spawns a larger flower, which stays idle until a survivor gets into about a 7 stud radius of it, causing it to charge for 1 second, showing a purple outline of where it will hit. Once slamming down, it will latch onto the survivor, allowing them to run around, but not be able to leave the radius for 5 to 6 seconds before letting go. This cannot grab survivors on ledges, but can grab ones behind 5 to 8 stud walls. After grabbing a survivor, or missing, the flower is put on cooldown for around 4 to 6 seconds. Completing the minigame on the flower stuns it for around 30 seconds. You can have 3 flowers placed down at one time. Azure's fourth ability is called Strangle. Upon being activated, a bright purple light will shine in the direction Azure is facing. If a survivor is caught in this light after 1 second, they will be grabbed by Azure using his tentacles to hold the survivor, throwing them into any direction around Azure and ragdolling the survivor for 1 second. This deals an unknown amount of damage to the survivor and any survivors in range. Azure's fifth ability is called Influence, which, when upon being activated, Azure transforms into a golem, placing down a neon pinkish purple cube. Once the oblation meter is full, possibly linked with the entropy effect or damage, Azure can turn into a nightshade golem, increasing their speed and damage, and teleporting to the spot they transformed at once the ability is finished. If you use this ability with a statue, you will transform to Azure in the spot of the statue. This also makes you immune to stuns. But don't worry, we're not done yet, as his golem also has its own abilities. Its first ability is his M1, which has no name as of now. Upon being activated, Azure slashes forward, dealing 27 damage. Its second ability is called Golem Stomp. Upon being activated, Azure stomps onto the ground, causing it to erupt in a vertical direction. If a survivor is in the blast radius line, they will be dealt 15 damage on hit and ragdolled. If a survivor steps into the debris, they will be heavily slowed down. Its final ability is called Golem Slam. Upon being activated, Azure slams his 2 arms onto the ground, causing a medium-sized blast around Azure. If the survivor was in the blast radius, they will be dealt 23 damage on hit and ragdolled for about a second. This is Azure's opening animation. I honestly love it. It's very well animated and looks really cool. This is Azure's outro animation. This is personally my favourite outro animation in Forsaken. I love the way we see it from 2Time's perspective and how they got stabbed by their own dagger. And like the last one, it's very well animated. Azure will have an LMS with 2Time, which was recently revealed, called And the Seraphim Wept. Here's a clip of the LMS. Sorry that I showed you such a long clip of the LMS. The LMS is just so good I thought you all had to hear a lot of it. It's honestly probably my new favourite Forsaken LMS because it just sounds so good, and props to the people who made it because it's absolutely incredible. Speaking of 2Time, they're getting another rework, which nerfs their backstab, making it only count as a backstab if they're crouched and moving forward. And they're getting a new ability named Pray, where Oblation can instead be used at your ritual to pray. Praying gives you health in result for Oblation, used more like a resource meter. Max Oblation still occurs, but can be exchanged for health while praying. I'm really excited for this new ability, as 2Time is my main and favourite Forsaken character, but their backstab nerf kinda sucks, but it's also quite good considering how annoying 2Time can be for the killer. And since we're on the topic of reworks, Builderman might be getting one that will allow him to carry his sentries and dispensers. I'm not 100% about this one though, as it was accidentally added not too long ago, and we might get it in the Azure update. And if we do, it's likely we may get his new milestones too, but I doubt it because they would have at least gave a teaser for them. Let's take a break from talking about Azure and 2Time and talk about some balancing changes. First and foremost, Taff is getting a stacking nerf and Elliot is getting an unknown nerf, which is good because they both really need one, especially Elliot with his stupid annoying rush hour. Slasher is also getting a buff, giving him a bigger hitbox for his M1, a faster gashing wound windup, and his raging pace windup is getting removed, and he's possibly getting a bigger beheaded hitbox. Next thing I want to talk about is Cool Kid. Cool Kid's getting a remodel for himself, and every single one of his skins is also getting a remodel, which in my opinion is very needed, as every other killer from the OG roster, being Jason, well now Slasher, 1X and John Doe, got a remodel, but him. Here's what it looks like. I think it looks amazing. One thing to note here is that he's got a new name, being the cool one. And to be honest, I don't know how to feel about it, but it's a cool name, I guess. But it'll be hard to get used to his new name, considering I've been calling him Cool Kid since the game's release. And all of his skins are getting remodels as well. So this is basically the Cool Kid update now. Never mind Azure, this is the cool update now. But anyways, we gotta look at some of them, so let me show you what they look like. Starting with Cultist, the Kid, Cool Kid, Whimsical, Saviour, now known as Cool Skeleton 95, Cooler, Bother Kid, Cupcake, now known as Party Pony, Pretty Princess, Weirdly Strict, School Kid, Milestone 1, Milestone 2, Milestone 3, and Milestone 4. As of now, it's unknown whether or not we're keeping the legacy milestones, which are those milestones he has in game currently. I hope we do though, unlike the new 2-time and chance ones, because I actually kind of liked 2 times milestones currently. The new ones are far better, but still, they're really good in my opinion. All of these skins look incredible, and are a major improvement from what they used to look like. My favourites being his new milestones, Cool Skeleton 95, Pool Kid, and Party Pony. They look incredible, and Cool Skeleton 95 is probably all my top 5 favourite skins in the game, due to the thing I'm going to tell you next. Saviour Cool Kid, or well now Cool Skeleton 95, is getting a new chase theme to replace his old one. Listen to this amazing teaser. I'm going to be 100% honest when I say this, but that is the best Forsaken chase theme I've ever heard, just from the teaser alone. Mainly due to the fact that it perfectly encapsulates the Undertale type of soundtrack, and it's just amazing in general. And also, the skin's based off my GOAT Disbelief Papyrus, which makes it even better, because the Disbelief Papyrus AU is my personal favourite Undertale AU. The last thing for Cool Kid is that one of his most popular skins, Blue Dude, is getting his animations back that were accidentally added not too long ago. Take a look at them.
I should practice my laugh.
I know a lot of people don't like them, but they just look so goofy, I just love them. Next, I'm going to go over a few new skins that we are getting in this update. But it's not all of them, as we probably haven't seen all of them yet, but this is all that we currently know of as of now. We'll probably get more in the update. To start with the skins, we have Golden Slasher, Wonderland Azure, Lunar Wizard Azure, Broken Heart Azure, Sugar Mage Azure, Flytrap Azure, Metamorphosis Azure, Adophis Azure, Void Azure, Deceiver Azure, Firstborn Azure, Blue Squid Azure, Yellow Squid Azure, Plush 2-time, Werewolf Nosferatu is returning, Catferatu for Nosferatu, an unnamed JoJo's Bizarre Adventure skin for Nosferatu, Overheat Veronica, if we're lucky, and I mean very lucky, a golden 2-time. Spy 007 will become a 2-time skin, and an unknown noob skin will also become a 2-time skin. Treachstone John Doe will be added for John Doe. The Uncle Sam skin for Slasher is getting a remodel. Missing No Noli is getting a remodel with new animations and a chase theme, although it has no teasers. If we are the luckiest people alive, then there's a small sliver of chance we get Kane Noli, and possibly Aberrant Cool Kid. Oh god, that was a lot there, wasn't it? But anyways, now that we've got those out of the way, let's take a quick breather by talking about some smaller quality of life features. Elliot's Pizza now has a timer, so you can see when it runs out and when you can't pick it up anymore. Secondly, you can now see if a player is AFK on the leaderboard, which is very useful, as you can now more efficiently see who's the next killer. And this reason's kind of because I'm just an idiot, but whenever I go on to AFK, I always tend to forget that I'm on AFK and I miss around, so that'll help me out a lot. Lastly, this isn't very much a quality of life feature, but it's cool nonetheless. John Doe is getting a size increase to be taller than Cool Kid, which doesn't change much about gameplay or anything, but I just think it's really cool. And the lobby is also getting redone for the Azure update as well. Take a look at it, it looks amazing. Another cool thing that's getting added is some new stuff for Last Man Standing, like an intro for them with these cool artworks and a toggable red sky. Also, every survivor is getting cool idle animations which look incredible. Take a look at them. And the last thing I'm going to tell you about is the new lore. This lore consists of diary entries that have been posted daily to a website called aspenslastbreath.neocities.org. These are written by someone named Detective Iris, who I believe is a skin for Jane Doe. And these entries are titled Investigation into Reborn. And the first entry reads as follows. Today is the 11th of an unknown month and an unknown year. Behind all of this lies a trail of disappearances. We have had reports of missing Robloxians be last seen in these woods. While doing fieldwork, I came across a walled village, able to house maximum 60 people from what I gather. Only a cart leaves the village in the morning to bring back supplies, otherwise there's no movement out. However, there is occasionally a person who leaves to gather firewood, quickly running back once their hands are full. I cannot continue further for now, as I am beginning to hear activity inside the walls. I will update this tomorrow. Goodbye. This entry tells us how there's been a trail of disappearances who have last been seen in the woods, which leads me to believe that these people have been kidnapped by the Spawn cult. It doesn't tell us much other than that. The only things that are notable is that a cart leaves the village to bring back supplies and occasionally someone collecting firewood, but that's not very useful to us. Let's see if the second entry tells us any more info. Today is the 12th of an unknown month and an unknown year. I've set up a small outpost on a cliff. It's hard to see, but I'm able to catch glimpses at inside through the trees. The village has several buildings set up for specific purposes, such as housing a greenhouse and a large church which the villagers gather to. The buildings are aged and showing signs of decay, however the villagers have been fixing it up. I assume the village has been around for way longer than I initially thought. Faces are hard to make out, but I have been able to identify 3 individuals in particular. Individual B wears a heavily decorated blue-grey clothing. They are likely the chief of the village. Individual A, the firewood gatherer, is often lingering around individual B, however, they often pass by individual A without a glance. I assume the two have a parental bond, however it appears to be one-sided. In fact, it seems individual A lacks connection with the villagers, often ignored or given a simple glance. Individual A has a companion, individual C. I'm unsure what their relation is, but they appear to be close. Individual C seems to be the villager's herbalist, assisting the sick and helping others. Nighttime is beginning to set. I am withdrawing for now to format my notes. It'll be a full moon soon. It's dangerous wandering alone with the admin's disappearance. There doesn't seem to be a connection with them and this village. I will update this tomorrow. Goodbye. This entry tells us a lot more, like how the village seems to be very old and decayed, showing us that the Spawn cult's been around for some time, and it tells us about 3 people, individual A, individual B, and individual C. I was able to realise that individuals A and C are 2-time in Azure, but I didn't know who individual B was, so I did a quick Google search and I believe it's somebody named Elder Amara, as they fit the description that this entry mentions. Now let's move on to the third entry. Hey, what's up? It's me editing this video. So I just want to quickly butt in to say that I forgot to mention something here in the script. It also mentions that the admins, being Shadesky, Builderman and Dusakar, have gone missing, so this takes place sometime after the 3 of them have been forsaken. Anyways, back to the original video. Today is the 13th of an unknown month and an unknown year. I saw individual A and individual C sneak out of the village at night. They travelled a bit farther into a small flower field where they started talking and writing on scraps of paper. I pushed my luck today and managed to sneak up behind them with my recorder. The transcription is below. Please be aware, I was quite a distance away, so I wasn't able to catch a majority of the conversation. Ignore my speaking quirk. Audio log start. Me. Hello, I'm closing in on these 2. Let me go listen. Leaves rustling. Individual A. Aspen. Inaudible. We can't go far as Elder. Inaudible. Individual C says, inaudible. Why don't we? Inaudible. Individual A. Laughter. Spawn. Inaudible. Individual A starts drawing on a scrap piece of paper. Individual C muttering. 2x2. Inaudible. Audio log end. Unfortunately, I subconsciously leaned a bit too far and stepped on a twig, causing the two to jump in alarm and run back to the village. I'm unsure what exactly the spawn symbol has to do with 2x2, but I need to look into it further. What I do know is that the 2x2 is the essence of all Robloxians. It allows us to create and build. The 2x2 is one of the most sacred aspects of Roblox. Without it, we aren't anything. Is it possible this village studies our history? Why would there be so many disappearances? Are the disappearances unrelated? I'm going to keep following this lead for now. Tomorrow I'm going to observe individual B. I will update this tomorrow. Goodbye. This tells us a bit more useful information as we find out that the spawn cult has some relation to the 2x2, which is one of the most sacred aspects of Roblox's history. We also find out that Azure's real name is Aspen, as that's what 2time refers them to in the audio log, which is weird because I thought his full name was Azure, but maybe that's his last name or something. I don't know. I'm not the one making the lore, so all I can do is theorize for now. On to the next entry. Today is the 14th day of an unknown month in an unknown year. I spent most of the day observing individual B. They spent long hours within the church, but would sometimes leave on occasion. Due to the way they dressed and the way they acted, I can confirm their status as that of a higher up, likely the elder the individual A mentioned. Individual B walked around the village checking in and or comforting many of the villagers. The strangest behaviour I saw was when individual A attempted conversation, only to be brushed aside because another villager got in the way. Later that night, when the moon was just barely visible in the sky, a gathering was called. I'm not sure what exactly I saw, but I can only assume it was some type of ceremony. These large banners of the spawn symbol were hung up while the elder lectured the villagers. The spawn symbol I keep seeing shown around is just an admin logo, isn't it? Doesn't exactly have any backing. I can only assume this village practices a religion focused on the symbol as some type of god. After the ceremony, they had a curfew where all the villagers were told to return to their housing. Later I saw the elder checking around to the side of one of the churches alone, ensuring no one else saw. What they failed to see was individual C watching through a window. I was barely able to see the blinds move. There has been something behind there. Could it be some kind of cellar? The elder left the back and to their own housing. I need to find out more about the religion. I hope there's still some types of connection to the disappearances. Is it possible? This entry goes into more detail on Amara, telling us that they are one of the higher ups of the spawn cult and that they tend to check in on a lot of the villagers. But for some reason, they seem to brush 2time aside. Maybe it's because they got annoyed at being backstabbed 50 million times when they're the killer, but yet again, I don't know. I'm not the one writing these. One other interesting thing to note is that Amara was snooping around the side of the church alone, trying to make sure nobody was watching, but Azure saw from his window. Amara must be doing something horrible, that being why she had to hide it from the other spawn members. Maybe it has something to do with the missing Robloxians. Let's hope we find out more about that in the next entry. Today is the 15th of an unknown month in an unknown year. Apologies for yesterday. The wind suddenly picked up speed, causing me to trip and drop my things. One of those things being my laptop, which fell over the ledge. I spent basically the rest of my day transferring my files. Anyways, the attire of the villagers seems to vary. If I had to assume, they gave custom-made clothing depending on the time spent here. The older-looking villagers had jewellery and long grey robes, while the younger-looking ones looked like they wore looser, maybe worn clothing, perhaps hand-me-downs. If I had to guess the average age of the village itself, it would probably have to be around 40, mainly because the abundance of older Robloxians compared to the middle-aged ones. Fortunately for me, I had a stroke of luck today. Their supply cart had tripped over, and after they left, I saw a notebook had been left behind. While I was initially excited, it was just my luck that the notebook lied in a puddle. On the side is a scan of one of the pages. I was able to summarise most of the text while waiting for the next ceremony. Reading some of the text, it feels like a mockery of 2x2. Their ideology speaks of renewal after death, how the spawn, a child of 2x2, will guide them through this life and the next. My research so far appears to be correct. The religion's name is Family Home for the Reborn. I can only assume those ceremonies are ways of fear-mongering and scare tactics. They appear to show their devotion through prayer, with those inside taught to fear anything beyond their own home. Every full moon there's some kind of banquet to be held. It's held for the chosen, who is given an opportunity to be worthy. I've written a longer summary in the overview. Tonight's ceremony was more or less the same. I'm too far away to tell what the elder was saying. I noticed the elder conversated a lot with another figure who was completely hidden behind a robe. Individual A saw this and looked distressed and nervous. In fact, Individual A seems to be always anxious when they aren't interacting with Individual B to the best of their ability, and Individual C. After curfew, the elder retreated back to the back of the church with Individual D, the robed person. I saw Individual C staring once again through the window of a house. That's all for tonight. I'll update this tomorrow. Goodbye. For some reason, this entry was covered by a ripped piece of paper depicting some ancient text with some sort of ritual around a dead corpse who appears to have a hole in its chest with a heart in it. My best guess is that it's a ritual for obtaining the second life. But remember how I said it was covering a part of the text? Well, I accidentally found a way to bypass it by copying and pasting the text into my notes app. What can I say? Control C, Control V, it's the way to go. The entry tells us how the carts getting supplies dropped a book in a puddle, and how Iris was able to find a depiction of that ritual in the remains of the pages. It tells us how every full moon the spawn holds some kind of banquet for some chosen one, and we get introduced to a new person, Individual D, who is somebody wearing a robe, who I have no clue who the hell they are, but for some reason during this banquet, Two Time was nervous whenever Amara was talking to this mystery person. But it later goes on to say that Two Time's usually anxious when not near Amara or Azure. But the way it was worded made it seem like Two Time was more anxious than usual. And yet again, we see Amara, but with this mystery person, sneak to the back of the church while Azure is watching, which leads me to think that there's a good chance this has something to do with the missing Robloxians. As Amara has been snooping around there twice, you wouldn't be snooping around places more than once unless you have something to hide. Or it could just be wrong and the spawn's secret stash of illegal drugs or something, but at this point, who knows? Anyways, this is the last entry as of now. Today is the 16th of an unknown month in an unknown year. I spent most of the day observing Individual C. As I stated earlier, they are the village herbalist. They spent most of their time in the greenhouse tending to various greenery that's set up. Otherwise, I noticed them staring at Individual A and Individual B through the glass. Later in the day, Individual C left the greenhouse with Individual A to the flower field from a few days ago. They continued to talk and study, mainly Individual C listening to Individual A, smiling and nodding. Cute. They are whispering to each other now. Correction, they kissed. Very cute. Over at the village, they seem to be preparing for the banquet with banners and decorations. The world these villagers have is puppeted by a master. I find it strange how Individual C isn't dressed up as much as Individual A is. Does this simply imply that Individual C hasn't been in the village since birth? They are suspicious of the Elder and Individual D, as if they don't share blind faith ingrained in the other villagers, especially Individual A. This is wishful thinking, but I wonder if Individual C wants to leave this place. The audio log from a few days ago showed that they had that thought. Why did they come here in the first place? What happened to make them stay? Why are they fine with the immoral practices of their religion? It isn't possible that they aren't aware as they study with Individual A. What keeps Individual C here? I know Individual A still clings onto their religion, onto the Elder. That's all I gathered in my investigation. My investigation continues. I need to report this place soon. The full moon is tomorrow. I will update this tomorrow. Goodbye. This entry focused around Azure, which brings a totally new question into this. Why is Azure even here? Why is he still in the spawn cult? As firstly, he's suspicious of Individual D and Amara. Secondly, it's heavily implied that he wants to leave. What keeps him here? My best guess is Two Time, because this entry literally confirms the Azure Time, the ship between Azure and Two Time, to be canon. Which is weird because I thought it was canon beforehand, but apparently this is them confirming it. But nonetheless, I'm happy about it, considering it's one of the only two ships I actually like, and probably my favourite to be fair. Because there are little good ones, considering the unfathomable horrors of the Forsaken Phantom. But anyways, that's all the info we really get from this entry, but luckily, there's an overview on everything, so before I end the video, let's take a look at that. Yo, what's up? It's me again, Editor Connor. So I was looking through Aspen's Last Breath website and I found that the last entry has been posted, and it's all audio. Let's take a listen.
Hey, this is hashtag rushed as hell, but I saw individual C enter the basement. They argued with individual A before booking it to the hashtag cute flower field. I'm trying to hashtag take a look, but it's hard to see. Individual A is trailing behind individual C with a knife. What the fuck is that? What is that symbol? I have to take a look.
Well, this was interesting. So Detective Iris sees Azure arguing with Two Time in the basement before going to the flower field, and Two Time stands behind him with a knife. And then the Detective Iris witnesses the sacrifice in horror, and then presumably gets killed off screen. This is a really cool way to show the end of the investigation, as we get a voice for Detective Iris, and we get to hear about the sacrifice which we've heard so much about. Anyways, back to the original broadcasting with the overview. These are what I understand of the family home for reborn so far. Within this forest is a trail of disappearances. Individual A is a labourer, socially isolated from the other villagers, has a parental bond with individual B, and is individual C's partner. Individual B is the village elder, often comforts other villagers, and teaches ceremonies after sundown, hiding something behind the church. The ceremonies are nothing more than always fearmonger the villagers into complete devotion and control. Individual C is a herbalist, suspicious of the elder for some reason, and individual A's partner. Members are isolated from the outside world, taught to fear it. A religious group that worships the swan symbol, who is a child of 2x2. They believe the swan will guide them through this life and the next. The villagers have very little autonomy over themselves. They are taught that they need to be forgiven and freed. As such, they submit to divine mandate that the elder has them over. Lack of young adults within the village. Every full moon there's a banquet held in the name of the Chosen. The Chosen is given the chance to be worthy, sacrificed in the name of their god. Only elders are allowed to sanction this. This implies the existence of multiple elders. The body of the Chosen is then cleansed and removed from this land, through and through. This is a cult, especially one that sacrifices their youth to a god. Horrible. This kinda tells us what we already know, but we do get to know that there's more than one elder, which is cool, I guess. Well, that pretty much wraps up this behemoth of a video. Sorry if I left anything out of the script. I made it at like 3 in the morning. But if you enjoy videos like this, make sure to like and subscribe for more epic content like this. Okay, bye!